Hello again and welcome back to the Real Arsenal Deal podcast. Rav here, your host as always. How are you all today? Thank you so much for tuning in wherever you are in the world. I hope you're doing great and I hope, like me, you're still basking in the glory of that fantastic win away at Newcastle a day and a half ago. If you're like me, you've been consuming a lot of Arsenal-related content. I think almost every podcast, every clip, everything that I could possibly consume, I have, and I've even gone back a couple of times and rewatched things, such as there's that glorious Ian Wright. It's around on YouTube, and I'm sure it's elsewhere. I tend to watch more YouTube than anything else. Of him celebrating in the studio whilst commentating on the game. Oh man, I love that guy. He's a treasure, and it's just so funny to see because I think I resonate with him so much because I'm not too far off him in terms of age. I think he's in his mid-late 50s now. I'm 45. I'm a grown man, right? Otherwise, I like to think of myself as someone pretty measured, pretty responsible, pretty mature, and all that sort of stuff. But when it comes to Arsenal, when it comes to those moments, oh my God, I feel that in my soul, the way he celebrated, because it's just like me. And it's such a beautiful, beautiful win. It's a great feeling. You might be wondering, why am I here back on again to record? Because I usually don't record daily. I try and space my recordings out, if 2 or 3 a week, and especially tied into matches and match reviews and that sort of stuff. But look, I had to come back on and record a shorter version today because amidst all the euphoria and everything that I published yesterday, I did miss out on a couple of small bits and pieces that I just wanted to come back to and talk more here about again. So that was a long introduction. Thank you for putting up with me as always. Thank you for all the feedback on yesterday's recording. It's been great. I read every single word, and it's great to hear the feeling you're also experiencing wherever you are in the world, right? It's such a significant win, and I think this is where I'll start with on this particular point, like the significance of Arsenal winning at Newcastle in the circumstances that we did. I think that's what adds so much extra feeling, because when you win in that manner, it's such a buzz, isn't it? It's such a momentum boost, and it's such an energy boost as well, and it just gives you that wow factor, that a comprehensive 2 or 3-0 cruise control sort of game. It doesn't quite give you. Sure, I would welcome them, right? I would love to have our season dominated by those sorts of results. Believe me. However, every now and then, you have a game like this, a result like this, and with all the added spice that was in the match, all the things that dialed up the temperature. The temperature was already high enough because it's Arsenal away at Newcastle. We know what we're in for. We know what they're about. We know that their fans are baying for blood, and they've enjoyed, as they should, that they've enjoyed raining on Arsenal's parade and rubbing our noses in it over the last couple of seasons. And you know what? Fair enough. That's football, right? However, isn't it great to go there and give one back? And you look at the balance of that first half, how well we played. We were fantastic. We played as well as we have a complete comprehensive domination as we have as I recall we did against PSG in Paris in that second leg. Like we were up for it. And it's just the random nature of football. We didn't have the goal to show for it. We should have had that penalty. I covered that yesterday. I don't want to get into all the negative stuff again, right? But all the hallmarks were there of another, oh God, here we go again type of result. And we battered them, but this went wrong, that went wrong. They get away with these challenges and their fans are dancing in the stands, and we come away with our tail between our legs, losing 1 or 2-0. Like all the hallmarks were there. But what I love is the resilience, how deep we dug. And there was almost a feeling amongst the players, led by the likes of Declan Rice, Gabriel, even Gyökeres, to be fair, that every single battle, every duel, we're like, no, we're not having this. We are not. We are placing a marker. We are doing things differently. We're gonna arrest this back into our favour. That's what I loved, and that's what I feel is so different about this win. Because when you win the Premier League, right? Okay, I'll try and say that again. In order to win a Premier League, you have moments like this throughout the season. You have stepping stones, right? You don't just get to the end of the season after 38 matches and you're just happen to be ahead of everyone else on the table. It's made up of significant wins on the road, backs to the wall. These sorts of matches are the things that make the foundation of a Premier League season. I'm not doing a very good job of explaining this point. I'm sorry. I'll try a different angle. The significance of Arsenal winning yesterday is something that I think we are going to be drawn upon and looking back on as the season progresses, because it's fueled that belief, that desire, that mentality that we are ruthless Arsenal. We're not going to be pushed around. We're not going to be shoved around and have our noses rubbed in it. We gave as good as we got yesterday, and we dominated them, and we deserved the win. Once we equalised, you could feel that hunger. It came from the manager, it came from the players. Grab the ball, back to the centre circle. We wanted this more than anyone. Epitomised by Gabriel. In that moment, right, that was his time. He knew it. We all knew it. A beautiful delivery from Odegaard. Gabriel rises above like the colossus he is, above everyone else, wanted it more, and bang, 2-1 to the Arsenal. And we absolutely deserved it. And it's the type of victory that's going to propel us lifting major trophies. I absolutely feel that. I feel that. I hope I've done a better job explaining that point, because I was kind of botching and stumbling over it before. But this is not to, I don't want to sound too entitled or too arrogant here. I'm not trying to say that we are absolutely going to win the Premier League. Of course not. It's 6 matches in. So much still has to go right. However, what I sensed yesterday, as opposed to, I was thinking about this the other day. The other last minute winner that I think can induce this type of feeling. Remember a couple of seasons ago against Bournemouth, right? The Reece Nelson moment, still a magnificent moment to reflect on. It still gets me every time I watch it. Of course, it was brilliant. However, the feeling at the time was just that I felt that. The reason we were down 2-0 in that game was largely self-inflicted. Like, we shouldn't have. We made some mistakes, and I don't want to bring up the whole Ramsdale thing again, because he had a couple of nervous moments that unfortunately cost us late in that season. But what I'm trying to say is that I had a sense then that we can't sustain that type of high energy, high octane, get out of jail. It's very draining, right? It's very draining as well to be that on edge, that stressed and hoping for that last gasp, almost miracle shot. That's different to this. I felt that over the balance of the match on a different day, Arsenal would have been 3-4 ahead. But we turned up ready to play. We didn't make silly, opening errors, right, and found ourselves, behind, well and truly behind on the scoreboard, and have, right, because we stuck to our task. We knew that if we keep doing what we're doing, right, playing in the manner that we did, showing the discipline, the structure that we did, believing in our teammates, that we're going to get the job done. That's what's different about this one. Whilst sure there is an element of luck involved in what we're 1-0 down in the 84th minute, we turn around 2-1. Sure, there is a little bit of luck that goes your way. Absolutely, that's undeniable. However, I feel we made our own luck. Does that make sense? I'm struggling a bit to explain this properly. So I felt we made our own luck, and that was the difference. I feel the brand of football that we played is much, much more sustainable than what we saw a couple of seasons ago when we were relying upon that last gasp miracle. This is different to me. I say that so often on this channel. If you're familiar with my content, this is the different Arsenal. We are powered up. We have options off the bench. I mean, look at the substitutions that Arteta had up his sleeve yesterday, and this is even without the matchday squad. I forgot to mention at the time we didn't even have Waneri. And of course, this is in addition to we know some of the other longer term absentees, Havertz, Jesus, Madueke as well recently due to his knee injury. So this is so different to what we're accustomed to. And what I loved is that irrespective of whether they're on the pitch or not, look at those celebrations. The bench cleared. They're all up there. They're all in there. I was watching it so many times. It's almost every time we watched a new angle or a different replay of those celebrations. Me and my sons, we're pausing, we're sort of picking it apart on the TV. Oh, who's that on top? Oh, we saw Raya. Raya got there very quickly because, he's always positioned on the halfway line. But on top of Raya, you see someone else climb up. And you see there was Norgard was in there, Calafiori, Trossard, of course. I'm pretty sure I think I saw Setford as well. If you can If you can correct me if I'm wrong, please. Of course, Mosquera is in there as well, having played and started the match in the first half. So we've got this genuine engagement buy-in amongst the playing group, and that's the kind of fabric that's, if we want to achieve what we want to achieve, that's something that needs to be maintained. And so far Arteta is showing it. Like, he's leaning into his squad. He's not afraid to make some of the decisions and the calls that just a year or two ago he probably wouldn't have. He would have risked the likes of Odegaard to start matches like this, or Saliba. Would he have taken off Bukayo after 70 minutes in a prior season? Probably not. So, credit to him as well, because he's actually utilising his squad. There's always just been that question mark that's hovered over Arteta, is about his ability to truly demonstrate and show that we can rotate and manage minutes. And so far so good, right? And I'm loving this. It's so pleasing to see. And look, speaking of rotation, I thought, whilst before I finish up this recording, may as well touch on the next match, of course, because we are back in action now against Olympiakos at the Emirates Stadium this Thursday morning. Thursday morning Melbourne time, 5 a.m. kickoff here. That's much easier for me to handle than some of the fixtures in the last few weeks. And I think we're going to see. I think this is, look, again, without coming across as too entitled or too arrogant, because we certainly don't want to do that. We must respect every single opponent in every setting, right? So I'm not trying to come across on the wrong side of that category. However, I do feel that this is a match where we can maybe just look just to freshen up a little bit. I wouldn't mind seeing Gyökeres not start this one. We've got him available on the bench if need be. But you've got some fresh forwards who could do with a start. Like, their minutes are being managed. I'd like to see Martinelli in this one. He does have a very good record in the Champions League, I must say. So he's been in goal scoring form. Trossard, of course, as well, has featured heavily. I'm not sure would Arteta feel that Bukayo should not start this one. I reckon he will, because Saka needs the minutes. Of course, he's in a different category, and that's why he started the League Cup match last week getting 60 odd minutes, because he needs to build up his loader. And I was very impressed, pleasingly, with what I saw against Newcastle. We're starting to see glimpses and flashes of that old sprinting Saka style. He's getting down the right, in behind the fullbacks, cutting in, going outside. That was lovely to see. So I do think he needs football. It's a matter of, look, how awesome is it to talk in this manner, that we can look to have these timeshare slots across the pitch. So maybe Gyökeres and Trossard share centre forward 60-30 minutes, or even Mikel Merino. Perhaps does Ethan start this one, and Odegaard comes on after 60 minutes as well to continue his reintegration into football. On the right, of course, we got Max Down. That depending on game state and whatnot, and hopefully, again, not trying to come across too arrogant, but if we do have goals on the board and we can manage and protect a lead later on in the match, maybe Dowman can get some minutes on the right. So how good is it to have these options? Even in midfield, Eza or Odegaard, I mean, take your pick. It's all fine by me. I think what we saw with Odegaard's brief cameo against Newcastle, he was showing different attributes that it's very interesting to see how this progresses, because he was starting from deeper. Yes, I know it was game state dependent, right? So we did have to, we were prepared that Newcastle were going to sit very, very deep. So we had some more freedom to pass the ball in and around. But, over time, I don't see this as like an Eza or Nwaneri or Odegaard sort of thing, as we've maybe become accustomed to with the right eight. There's options here. We could deploy both. I mean, Odegaard over time, maybe he's going to, a bit like Santi Cazorla, that he started off as an attacking midfielder, but towards the latter stages of his career, Fabregas did this too, that become more of a deep line playmaker. So again, I mean, what fantastic choices to have. Zubimendi's had a heavy load, so maybe he shares with Norgard in this one, or Rice. And at the back line as well, of course. I mean, if Saliba's not ready to play a full 90, Mosquera is there. We've got Lewis Skelly waiting if Calafiori needs to sit down. Of course, then there's also White, who's available again if Timber needs to sit down. So we've got options, and it's just so reassuring when I look at this fixture list now that we've got, now that these opening tough 6 matches are out the way. We've got a nice little run of fixtures over the next 3 to 4 weeks that, again, I'm not trying to sound too arrogant. I would like to think that we can string together some momentum here, some consecutive wins. I would like to see us put as many points on the board in the Champions League, because come early next year, when the fixtures are coming thick and fast in January, I keep banging on about this. I know if you're familiar with the channel, that's what undid us last season. That January schedule, it was hectic enough without trying to add in the 2 extra qualifying Champions League matches. So if we can try and shore up that top 8 position again, like we did last season, that should absolutely be the priority, be the target. And that's why it's essential that against Olympiakos, at home against the Emirates, that we get the 3 points on top of that fantastic away win at Athletic Club a week or so ago. So we just need to keep doing what we need to do, get our job done, get our business done. The table, it will take care of itself, right? Like the positions, the points tallies, goal differences, it will take care of itself. Primarily, we've got to get our job done. And what we don't want to do is, like we've unfortunately done in the past, is squander the momentum, that belief, that injection of belief and energy, a surge that came from the Newcastle victory in that fashion. We don't want to squander it by now putting together, a poor performance against Olympiakos or West Ham this weekend, who are another bogey team, right? So one of those ones where I mean, so often this doesn't really get, again, I know I'm about to do this. I'm guilty of this too by feeding into the media narratives. But when they say things about Arsenal, that we kind of bottled against City or Liverpool or whatnot, it's not those matches that have cost Arsenal in the Premier League title the last few seasons. It's these nagging matches. West Ham at home have done us a couple of times. Fulham, home and away, we've dropped points there. Aston Villa. It's those sorts of matches where we for a host of reasons, of course, we just haven't been able to defeat them and claim 3 points. It's not against the big 6, so-called big 6. It's these other matches where we've taken the foot off the gas, and we just can't afford to do that, especially off the back of this Newcastle victory. It's a type of win that's going to propel us if we channel it in the correct way. And I'm very, very confident. Just when you see how Arteta talks, you can see how the players talk. All right, you can just see a different mentality from them. There's that willingness, that desire, that fire inside them. I feel it. I'm all the way over here in Melbourne, Australia, and I feel it. So that to me suggests how tangible it is in and around the club and the playing group, and that's good enough for me, because I'm really enjoying what I'm seeing so far. So I think we will see some rotation. It's not going to be a massive thing like we saw against Port Vale, but I can envisage 3 to 4 changes from the starting lineup, and in that sort of time sharing spot, then we use our 5 subs accordingly, as Arteta has usually done almost every match this season, I believe, except one. Please correct me if I'm wrong, that he's used his 5 substitutions. So it is what it is. It'll take care of itself. I've got that confidence, that belief, and it's going to look. I imagine it's going to be a great energy at the Emirates this week. If you're going, have a wonderful time. Please share your experience with me. I love this stuff. Being all the way across enviously the other side of the world, I would love to experience that myself. But look, it's going to be great. So we hopefully get the job done against Olympiakos, and then continue on our Premier League form this weekend against West Ham. And it's so important that we get the 3 points there as well. I've spent a lot of time, more than I thought, on this. I just wanted to mention 1 or 2 other quick things before I wrap this one up. I want this one to be a shorter podcast. So something I forgot to mention as well last few days was Saliba. So apparently Saliba has already, according to Tom Canton, the fantastic Tom Canton, I'm sure you're aware of him from the Gooner Talk, because if you're aware of my channel and watching my content, you most certainly are watching the more of the elite Arsenal content producers, which I'm certainly nowhere near. So he has said, I'm paraphrasing here, along the lines that Saliba has already put pen to paper, and we're just waiting for the official announcement, which will take care of itself in due course. And that's massive. it goes back to what I've been saying earlier in this recording and in prior ones, that you can just sense that belief within the playing group. Saliba recommitting, extending to Arsenal is massive. It is so huge. So huge. We have done a brilliant job with contract renewals. If you'd like to hear me talk further about that, in a couple of weeks ago in my feed, you will see I ranked their 2025 transfer window, and I gave an entire category to contract renewal. So please feel free to check that out for further discussion. So we have done an amazing job in extending key players. It's been a long time since we've lost someone that we wanted to keep. And Saliba is the one that I had that nagging feeling that, maybe could we get another contract out of him before Real Madrid or something, or will it go into the last 12 months and maybe our hand is forced? But you know what? He tells you, the players tell you what they believe in their actions. How many key players are extending, recommitting to Arsenal, to Arteta, to each other? Right? This speaks volumes. For someone like Saliba, who doesn't have that emotional tie that, say, Saka does or some of the other players, right? It's huge. So I'm so over the moon with this. I'm looking forward to the official announcement. For him to extend to Arsenal until 2030, I believe it's been reported. But that's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. He's still so young, right? 24 for a centre half is actually very, very young. So he's got so much football ahead of him, so many good years. And to have, I mean, centre halves sometimes are still in their peak in their early mid 30s. So to have Saliba right here at this age recommitting, we are primed. We are primed for this next little period of time for Arsenal. We are red hot. We are absolutely primed. We're set up to achieve something very, very special. And of course, a lot has to go right to do that. However, I'm confident in the direction that we're headed. And yeah, it's an exciting time to be an Arsenal fan. So look, on that note, I'm going to bring this one to a close. Thank you so much. For those of you who are listening on audio platforms, I know I've got a wonderful, loyal fan base. I know you follow the show and you see it appear in your feed. If I could please ask you a favor, could you please be so kind to leave me a review on Apple or Spotify? It really, really does help the visibility, the engagement of the channel. I would really love if you could please leave a review. And if you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe, comment any suggestions, feedback. I read every single word. I love discussing this with a wonderful little community I'm blessed to have here. And look, as always, just thank you so much for your support. Look after yourselves. Keep believing. Keep watching the Arsenal content. I'm probably going to watch that Ian Wright clip again, because it just brings me joy. If you can't share this sort of stuff, these sort of moments, especially me being blessed to share it with my sons and watch their reactions, they be mimicking the Gabriel celebrations just while they're brushing their teeth and stuff. I mean, if you can't enjoy this stuff, then like, what's it all for? What's it all for? It's the little things that get us through, right? The little glimmers of hope. And I hope you can find your glimmers of hope in whatever it is that you do. Arsenal provides that for me. So thank you so much. As always, look after yourselves. Okay, I'll be back on, hopefully, to talk about a resounding Arsenal result against Olympiakos on Thursday. Best wishes to you all, and come on, Arsenal.